So who's it to be, Povetkin or Rahman? Probably an appropriate mention, appropriate time to mention as well that 12 years ago Hasim Rahman had a win in a dramatic contest against Corey Sanders, the South African who tragically lost his life last weekend in a shooting incident in his native South Africa. And Corey Sanders was one of the genuinely nice guys of boxing, and an awful moment. Hasim Rahman now against Alexander Povetkin, WBA heavyweight title fight. You see Rahman, heavier and slightly the taller man, got himself into very much better shape than his last contest, some 2 stones lighter. And they always say the last thing they lose is your punch.
Yes, John, and that's something that maybe Povetkin is susceptible to, isn't it? Is that maybe he can be hit and hurt.
As Marco Hook showed. Rahman trying to find that right hand straight away. Oh, good shot from Rahman. Right hand, and Povetkin, right hand, and did Rahman's legs momentarily stiffen.
He did, John. I think his leg just buckled slightly, and the left hook sort of put him back onto the track almost, but danger signs already for Rahman.
Good left hand as well from Povetkin, but Rahman coming forward with a couple of decent jabs of his own.
Obviously, Povetkin is a massive favourite, but you wouldn't expect him to finish the fight early, would you? You think, Rahman's got the puncher's chance, and that's all he's got. But Povetkin just hit him with 2 lovely crisp shots, and it did trouble Rahman.
There's a right hand again, not able to find a clean blow. Rahman, the Rock, guy who's been there, done it, seen it all. But how much has he left in the tank? And the crowd already responding to what's been a fairly quick start from Povetkin. There's another good jab from Rahman.
Yeah, he's done a few good jabs, haven't he, Rahman? He's shown a little bit of his former glory, but it was a worrying sign that Povetkin, who's not a massive puncher, John, has hurt him so early in the fight.
I did think that maybe we're being a bit unkind to him. Perhaps he was caught off balance, but I just thought that the legs momentarily went, and he's looking a little bit easy to hit with those headshots, Rahman, although he has jabbed quite well. Twice there, getting through with the left-hand lead.
Yeah, and just making Povetkin blink on this slightly.
He was always heavy-handed, Rahman. Came to the professional game late. Came to boxing relatively late. He was a bit of a bad lad in the younger days, in the formative days. Used to be an enforcer, but then found the sport which became his life.
But he's had a lot of success, hasn't he, in the ring, John? Beating one of the best heavyweight champions of all time, one of them, Lennox Lewis. But Povetkin will take his time, won't he? He won't take any unnecessary risks.
Headshots again from Povetkin, the last scoring shots of an interesting opening round. And there's Povetkin's other half. And here with Kostazu. Saw him at the Hall of Fame celebrations over in Canastota a couple of years ago, and he was talking then about his ambitions to really establish himself as a top boxing coach. He was one of the great fighters of recent years.
He was phenomenal, wasn't he, John? Not just one of the most heavy-handed light welterweights around. He also had a lot of skill, a lot of defensive genius. He was very hard to hit, always sitting back on that back foot.
There's the right hand over the top. I said that his knees weren't too good when he came down the steps earlier on, and they didn't look too good then either, did they?
Just done a little bit of a skip and a jump, didn't he, when he got caught with that left hook after the right hand. But apart from that, John, it was a pretty even round, wasn't it?
I thought Povetkin edged it, just landed the more telling blows.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, mate.
But he does well to treat Rahman with respect. That right hand really does come into play. then the chin of Povetkin is certainly going to be tested.
Yeah, some better work already in this round from Povetkin. Rather than just standing in front of Rahman, he's darting in and out with that jab. Just landing a shot and getting out the range before Rahman can counter with his obviously heavier shots.
Well, Rahman does how he always was, a bit of a plodder, wasn't he? He never had great footwork. Oh, and he's gone this time. Left hand put him in real trouble, and he could go right here. Povetkin's trying to finish him. Rahman is trying to sway, bob and weave. Nunlock coming back. Bravely he tries to fight it back off the ropes, and he looked as though he was going to go there, Barry.
Well, he's holding on to the rope, and he still is, John, just to keep his balance. He looked really wary and wobbly on his legs. Well, he recovered quite well, didn't he?
He looks an old man in there now, and he's caught by another big left hand and a right hand. Oh, landed solid with two big right hands and another one. Big uppercut as well. The referee should be taking a look at this now. Rahman's taking huge punishment. The referee should be surely getting in there. He's going to allow it to continue. But Rahman looks pretty well defenceless. Oh dear, this has got to be stopped. Got to be stopped, and it is. In the second round, it's all over. And I'm afraid, in the final analysis, that was a sad exhibition. Povetkin was simply too good, too young, too fresh. Rahman looked like an old man, and in that second round was pretty much defenceless.
Well, he never quite recovered, did he, John, from the first onslaught? It was a nice left hook and a right hand, and then he never quite recovered from that. But he looked very wobbly on his legs, but he didn't look in danger of going on the floor. It was quite unusual, wasn't it? But he took some crushing shots from Povetkin, who really skirted around him, didn't he? Landing with shots, uppercuts, hooks, straight punches. And we're talking about early stoppages, John. I think the referee let that go on slightly too long.
Yeah, I think so. He took some huge shots there, Hasim Rahman. The question was whether or not he could somehow dig back into time and find some semblance of his glory days. Well, the footwork was very, very quickly revealed to be pretty poor. He just plodded forward, and when Povetkin started to land the power shots, he just couldn't get out of the way.
Well, he looked like a shot fighter, John, let's get it right. And you know, we always felt, and everyone probably felt, that Povetkin was going to win this fight comfortable. Not as comfortable as that. I don't think that showed a lot about Povetkin. It just showed how far Rahman's gone back, in my opinion, John.
Yeah, it was a little bit sad to see that one. Some fighters age at different paces. Rahman's allowed himself to get badly out of condition. He took a hammering against Vladimir Klitschko back in 2008. But was he taking shots as big as these? The legs stiffened there. Look, he's doing a funny little dance there, and he's in trouble.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? He took a good left hook and he wobbled back. But he was holding the ropes to keep himself up, and you know, Povetkin hit him with some cracking shots, and I'm not sure whether Rahman got a great chin or whether Povetkin, you know, doesn't have the punching power maybe to stop a big heavyweight, but he landed with some crushing shots, and John, look at that flush.
Well,
and there was worse to come on then after that.
Yeah, at this stage you're really wanting Gustavo Padilla to step in. What's that about? You know, he's pulling him off, and that was one left hook too many. Could have saved Hasim Rahman from that, but fighters are brave men. They have to be saved from being too brave.
Yeah, and you've just seen the towel as well, didn't we? Looking to be thrown in, but I think it could have been another maybe 10 seconds before that where he could have been saved by his corner or the referee. It's sad to see, isn't it, John?
Yeah, it was April 2001 that Hasim Rahman had his great glory night. Nobody can ever take that one away from him. But I just wonder if here in Germany against Alexander Povetkin, the new WBA champion, defending here for the third time, I wonder if we've seen Rahman for the last time in a boxing ring.
Yeah, I would hope so, John. No, we can't take... Povetkin had a job to do, didn't he, John? And he'd done it, and he'd done it very well. We just tend to think that Rahman was in a worse condition than we initially thought, and I'd like to see him retire. Povetkin goes on, and where does he go from here?
Well, maybe Kubrat Pulev, we've seen him earlier on. Maybe they might think it's time for a go against one of the Klitschkos, who knows?
I think if they wanted Klitschko, John, they would have looked for that fight already, I think. But as you mentioned just now, Pulev, that would be a cracking fight, and it seems to be geared up for that to be the next fight. And you pay to watch that one for sure.
Well, he did what was required. Kostya congratulating his man, but in all honesty, apart from absorbing 1 or 2 jabs in that opening round, it was a very, very easy night for Alexander Povetkin. Couldn't do nothing. Legs let him down. Just didn't have the mobility to get away, to slip shots.
Yes, John, you called it, John, before he even got into the ring, about where he looked unsteady on his legs in the ring walk, and so he did come in. And again, now he still looks a little bit unsteady, doesn't he? And it was a good left hook, and it caught him flush, and he done a little dance, and he done well to stay up, but he looked very wobbly, and the ropes were keeping him up literally, and you just tend to think the referee could have stopped that fight a lot earlier.
Well, Povetkin still the champion. Second round stoppage.
Meine Damen und Herren, hier
Here's
kommt das Urteil. Ringrichter Gustavo Padilla aus Panama City bricht den Kampf in Runde 2 nach 1 Minute und 46 Sekunden ab. Sieger durch TKO und weiterhin WBA-Weltmeister im Schwergewicht. Still WBA Heavyweight Champion of the World from Russia, Alexander Ruski Vityaz Povetkin.
A pretty facile win. Povetkin